Okay, we should be live. I'm not cooking anything special today. I'm hungry and I don't know what to do. So I'm cooking just bacon and eggs and some biscuits. They're not homemade biscuits, they're Grand's biscuits. I'll show you. Just these. I'll go ahead and put them in here. The oven is already preheated. So I'm gonna take my little ladybug here. I'm gonna set my little ladybug on 15 minutes. I'll try to put it over here where it's not too loud for everyone. If it is, I'm sorry. That bearded guy, hey, hello, how are you? It's the last day of the year. I'm tired. Look at all this stuff on the internet, and it's like, Stasny Novi. I'm like, how about Stasny Novi then? Just like, have a good day, you know? I don't know about the year. That's a bit too much. You know, let's just look at the day first. The day will be good. And have a good day. That will be awesome. There we go. Cooking bacon because I need grease for the eggs. You can't cook eggs without bacon grease. I mean, you can. I wouldn't suggest it, you know. It doesn't work out well. Oh, now you're here. My dog decides to come in the kitchen. He sells bacon. He's lazy mutt. He's wonderful, but he's a dog. So he does dogs pretty well. There's a trick for doing this where you put some water in there. I could kind of do that. I have anything clean for that. That's another thing. I seem to be the only one that knows how to clean. Don't put a whole lot of it. Don't worry, it'll blow away. 2024 is going to be wild. That could be good and that could be bad. That could be both of them. Also on Rumble, for anybody who's out there on Rumble. Hello, how are you doing? I'm not forgetting about you. StreamYard. Oh, you pour water in cast iron all the time. You don't leave water in cast iron. You don't put cast iron in the sink. That is grounds for divorce. I put water, I put milk, I put all kinds of stuff in cast iron. You know, a little milk, a little flour, a little grease. I'm making gravy, you know? So, and I might do that. I don't know if I have any milk. Yeah, you don't leave water in cast iron. Usually how I clean it is I'll put water on it and I'll get it boiling hot and I'll take my spatula and I'll scrape it out real good. I'll pour that over the dog's food. I'll rinse it out real good, put it on the stove, dry it. Because you don't want to scrub it, you know? You don't want to do like scrubbing it, soap and water. It's seasoned. You don't want to do that. So that's kind of how you keep it clean. And put it on the stove, let it dry out real quick, and then you put it up and you're fine. And you don't lose that seasoning and the oils and stuff that's in the pan. So And if you're out there on Rumble, leave me a comment. Let me know you're there. There we go. I put a little bit too much water in here, but that's fine. Like I said, the water will boil away. You're going to have grease that's left. You'll see in a second. There's not that much in there. Either that or I'll just mess it up live on TV. Wouldn't be the first time I've done that. Or YouTube, whatever. I'm old. And I'm really just wanting the grease off the bacon. Also, at the top of the chat, if you're on YouTube, I left links to my Discord. If you're not on my Discord, I left links to Subscribestar and to Patreon. I don't know if you can scroll up and hit that or not. It should be there. See, always told me never pour directly into the pan. Always add food before. Well, I have food. But she's kind of right on that. You don't want to get popped and stuff with a hot one. Also, like when you're making beans and stuff like that, glad you mentioned that. If you're making anything like a soup or something that you might have to add water to, what you want to do, especially beans, is you want to have 2 pots on the stove. And the second pot is just hot water so that you can add the hot water to it. Constitutional Carpenter, hello, how are you? I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see what that little symbol is. One day I'll get my new glasses. One day, I promise. I don't have the money for them right now. They don't have my prescription in the bottom so I can read up close, and they have a prescription in the top so I can read far away. Apparently it's a good prescription to have. My optometrist is like, people want that prescription. I'm like, I don't. I'd rather not wear glasses. I don't do this water thing very often. You'll see what I'm doing. There are people on the internet that do this all the time, and they are much better. There we go. Now it's becoming more grease, which is what we want. We want the grease. I have eggs. Yeah. Don't mess with the cast iron. That can get you in trouble. This one here is cast iron too. I usually do chicken and stuff in that one. That's a Dutch oven, but it's cast iron. I can take it camping, that sort of thing. And that is great for frying chicken. I don't know what I'm going to cook tomorrow, though. I've been thinking about something for New Year's, and I just don't know yet. I need to wash this. Don't worry, it's going to be hot. I'll just put it in water. It's sitting in the water. That's the problem. So if you sit it in the water, you're gonna rust it. Basically with oils and stuff inside it. This is fine. That's going right in the oil. That's the one she used to keep Grandpa in mind. That'll do it. Hit you upside the head with a cast iron skillet. That will do it. If Grandma was going to pick that thing up and swing with it, she's going to hit you with it. My great-great-grandmother, she lived to be 107. I was privileged to know her. She was born in 1880. She was 40 before penicillin was a thing. She outlived 7 husbands. And she was all of about 4'10". I would not mess with her cast iron. You would get hurt. That's weird to actually know someone. Like, I knew her in person and she was born in 1880. That connection. But then when you think about it, if you look at early film and videos and reports, they've got people from the Civil War on film. Their voices recorded, you know? Here I had 14, 15-year-olds and stuff fighting in that. And you figure in 1920, these guys were 70. In 80. In the 30s, there were some still there. It's weird to think about it like that. I do not want to burn my bacon. Yeah, the whole, look on that. There's a couple of reasons for it. The whole, average lifespan was 30. That's an average. If you lived past your infancy, really, and made it past your childhood after you've been exposed to all those things like smallpox and everything else, now you are just as likely to live to 70, 80 years old, just about as you are today. I mean, look at our founding fathers, how long they lived. Unless you had a job that put you specifically in more danger of dying early, like coal miner or something like that. Or you're out on a ship with scurvy. Which is one of the reasons the British were able to take over the seas. Was because of grog. Because, everybody drank wine, what have you, and the British sailors had grog. Hold that down. There we go. And grog had lemon juice in it. And lemon juice was preventing scurvy because of course, vitamin C. Interesting little things throughout history. What time we got? Oh, my biscuits are not ready. Where am I going to put these biscuits? I need to put them somewhere. I also don't need to burn bacon. Don't want to do that. And look at all that grease. I'll find something to put these on. And something to grab them with. And those are the biscuits. And that is hot, and that rag is thin. Yeah, it would, but it's got acid in it. But as of which one was going to kill you quicker, the scurvy it gets you quicker. What's one of those weird facts of history that led to things like the British being the superior naval power for so long? Something as simple as grog. That is an option. Well, not sausage gravy. It'll be bacon if I do gravy. I can do that. We're going to have a bunch of bacon grease. I don't have sausage at the moment. Need to pick some up. I'm not even dressed to go to town. I just got like a ball cap on and a big shirt and jeans and stuff. And I kind of look like a butch thirst trap. But I either look one of two ways usually. I either look like that or I look Pentecostal. One or the other. There's no in between. There we go. That's just about done. Just straighten this one out because it annoys me. No need to be dressed all fancy. I'm just going to Walmart. Yeah, Walmart's a whole nother story. I try my best not to shop at Walmart for many reasons. A lot of it is because I'm a truck driver and I hate how they treat us. I want more bacon. I don't know. I have enough grease? It's more the deciding factor. Do I have enough grease? I need to turn my heat down a little bit. I think that's enough bacon. Not that you can really have enough, you know. Wouldn't be the first time someone's been arrested at Walmart, you know? And is that enough grease? I think that's enough. Hold on 1 second. She came home with some food. She's giving it to the dog. That makes a lot of noise. Okay. I gotta do the eggs now. It's amazing how much noise one paper bag can make. Sometimes when I do eggs, I kind of consider it like pancakes, where the first one goes to the dog, and the dog has no problem with that.
No, Chloe.
So how do you like your eggs? And that bearded guy said hello to you, Amy. Amy, you say hello back? I don't know if you heard her. But she said hello.
Look at my recipe.
Hold on.
Chloe, you should eat the biscuit.
Yeah, it's way too long. I know you're disturbing everything. She's trying to keep the cat out of the biscuit. You heard her? Okay. He heard you. One egg.
I got some cleaning stuff.
Cool.
Chloe, stop.
This is what restaurants are not really able to do very well. I guess because of health code or whatever, how they have to cook. It's hard to get your eggs sunny side up at a restaurant. Or just be able to splash the grease on top. And not have it all runny. You're cooking the top of the egg with the grease without flipping it, and you're leaving the yolk runny. And trying not to bust the yolk with the spatula when you pick it back up. It sucks when you do that. You haven't been to a restaurant in 2 years. The way restaurants have been after the pandemic, I don't think you're really missing anything. Although, we did go to the, Hofenbrau last night. We went to Harley. They were having one of their party things. I know I have a bike channel, so my apologies to any bikers, but after a bunch of bikers had their hands on the pizza, I kind of stuck to just beer, you know? And we went to that Hofenbrau, and I got a ribeye. She got this fried chicken thing, which is redundant to me, because it's fried chicken, but it was done like a big chicken fried steak, and it looked amazing. I'll do one more egg. One day my stove will be level, but it's not. So it is what it is. But the food was amazing. The waitress was awesome. Her husband just started truck driving and he's like 50 something. I'm like, whoa, good luck there. I mean, not that you can't do it or anything, it's just the industry. It's very cutthroat. You don't make a lot of money at first. And it's a completely different lifestyle. It's not just another job. Because your whole life is going to change if you drive a truck. Over medium. Mark Malone, cool. Or somebody else, Lord Prep. Awesome, thank you. Hello, Mark Malone, Lord Prep, anybody I may have missed. And my 4 people that are watching over on Rumble. Hello, I'm not forgetting about you. And if anybody's on Twitch, I'm not forgetting about you either. But if you leave a comment on Twitch, it will show up on StreamYard, so I will be able to see that. Cat, move. Get away from them. They're also hot, so if she does take a bite or something, she's not going to like that. Because I just took them out of the oven. Sorry about all the scraping. I got to do what I got to do. I got 2 reviews I have to do for my other channel, and they both involve some time. I don't know if this evening or tomorrow I'm going to put the little things on there for the ponytail holder for my helmet, but it has to cure a certain amount of time, and I have a ride to do tomorrow. And it's a patch ride thing, so I think it's sort of required. Turn the heat off. And I'll strain that bacon grease and I'll have it for later. Let's see. No, I don't think anybody can get it like Grandma did. That's just one of them things where Grandma was Grandma, you know? All right, here's the salt. So we have to salt and pepper the eggs. Speaking of grandparents, there's this one time my cousin was sitting at the table, and yes, sometimes I cheat on a roux. But my grandfather didn't see that the lid came off the salt shaker. And my cousin put too much salt on his eggs. He couldn't eat them. My grandfather was mad because, I mean, you know, Grandma cooked breakfast and everything, and you're going to eat it, and you're not going to complain about it and all that good stuff. And he made him sit there and eat those eggs, and he didn't find out until later how, shall we say, heavily salted they were. I need butter. I should have took the butter out because we don't really have any soft butter right now. I let it melt a little, but I didn't do that. That would involve things like pre-planning, all that kind of good stuff that I'm not good at. Yeah, Cat wants some biscuits. You gonna get a biscuit? I'm gonna give you one. Sorry, no. These are buttered biscuits anyways. They're the Grand's ones. I'm still gonna put some butter on them. Because you have to have something to sop up the egg yolk. I'm from the South. You gotta have some form of toast, biscuit, something like that to do what you need to do. See if I can turn this camera. There we go. That's my lunch. Breakfast for lunch. Salted like a preserved corned beef. Oh yeah, Grandma could always do things. Oh, you're West Coast. Cool. What's weird about the West Coast is it's kind of like going to New York, where everybody thinks of New York as like New York City. Or like, Buffalo, Albany, stuff like that. But New York City should almost be a state unto itself. It's just so different. When most of New York is kind of rural, and you got farmers and stuff like that out there. And it's the same. You go to California, Washington, Oregon. Moses Lake is completely different from Seattle. Or you out there between like Bakersfield and Sacramento. That's just totally different people, different everything than LA or San Francisco. Or well, you go over the bridge in San Francisco to Oakland, and it's like, that's totally different. It's like, that's how you solved racism. You segregated the hell out of everybody. That was shocking to me because I'm from the South and we all live together. Go out there and it was like, man, I'd never seen anything segregated like that in my life until I went out there. Oh yeah, San Francisco. Leave your dog alone. It is beautiful. It's a trip the first time you go in a truck because of all them lines hanging over, and you got to go to some meat market on the edge of a subdivision that's nothing but hills. You think you're going to rip all of them down. When you get backed into the little gate going in, they're going to unload like a whole truckload of meat. You got to disconnect and park on the side of the street. And I think that's the first place I ever saw where people had to move their cars at certain times of the day or certain days of the week, or they'd get towed. And it's like, I was like, that's in front of your house. Why can't you park in front of your house? But my graduating class had 28 people in it. So a lot of things are kind of culture shock to me. California is beautiful, though. Oh, God. On a house from 1902. Oh, my God. Yeah. And, you go to Chinatown. I go in San Francisco. They'll write you a ticket at every stop. And you're just going down the same street. This market, you're going to this one, you're going to this one, you're going to that one. When you get to the end of the street, the last guy takes all the tickets and he pays the tickets for you. That was a trip. That's called government bullshit. But, sorry, I am a truck driver. But, yeah, California is beautiful. Yeah, land of fruits and nuts. They didn't think that through. They had that slogan before that became a joke, though, and it actually made sense. But But I used to pull a reefer, so you drop off a load of meat because all your meat's coming from the center of the country. All that chicken you're eating out in California is coming from Texas. And we'd take all the produce and stuff out there. Like I'd have 7 picks from like Salinas down through Oxnard, Garden City, all the way to Yuma. And you'd never make your last appointment at TNA in Yuma. So you'd call on the phone, it's a payphone, and you'd reschedule, you'd get an app, then you'd get loaded, and you'd head to like HEB in San Antonio. And you wouldn't stop either. But then all this stuff in the valley in Texas, because we got 2 great like produce producing areas in the country. One's California, and I know you got like your greenhouses in Arizona and all that stuff, but it's basically California and Texas. And all this stuff from Texas is going out to the East Coast. And hello, Corey, how you doing? Homesteading with Soulless Ginger. If y'all haven't checked his channel out, sub to him. He's got some pretty cool stuff. I haven't seen if you've put anything out lately, but I'm really interested in your garden for next year. I think what happened to yours is what happened to mine last year. Storm came through and just destroyed everything, so it was kind of a loss. But it is what it is. I was doing my spices and stuff like that. Oregon, though, like coming out of California, like go up to Suzieville and don't make a wrong turn, because I did that one time. You're going up through Klamath Falls. I just run up that way, then take, 57 over, I think that's Willamette Pass. If you look at my my Facebook, those of y'all that are on there, that picture with all the snow on the mountain, that's Willamette Pass up there in Oregon. And it's just, the snow is piled up higher than my truck if you look closely. And it's basically a ditch of snow going over the mountain. And that is amazing. Skiers going up there, they had sand down. It was good. It wasn't like it was treacherous. It was just snow everywhere. You're on ice with sand on top of it. It's normal. The Shastas are beautiful. The water out there is different though. Me and Amy, we took a vacation. We rented a Monte Carlo. I secured my truck in Riverside. And we went up Pacific Coast Highway and all that. I'm scaring the hell out of her because I'm sliding around curves, taking bushes out and everything because I'm crazy and she's not, but I think she likes it. But, you know, I'm the one we were dating doing 120 in a Jeep. So what the hell? And, but we're going up the Pacific Coast Highway and you're like 15 miles inland and it's so hot and it's just like miserable heat. And then you're like 5 miles from the coast and it's like hitting an air conditioner, all that cold air coming off that cold water. And I couldn't, it didn't click in my head why everybody looked like they were wearing scuba gear, you know? It's colder up there than it is down by San Diego. Something about that current. It gets a little warmer when you get south. But we went out, we're going to go swimming in the water. And as soon as my feet touched that water, I understood why they looked like they were in scuba gear, because that water is cold. Gulf water is not like that. Gulf water is not cold. Gulf water is warm, and there are a lot of places you don't swim in it. That water was beautiful. I mean, you step on seaweed or something, you could look down and you can see, oh, that's seaweed, because you can see your feet in the water. That does not happen in Galveston, Texas. You do not see your feet in the water in Galveston, Texas. Watch that thing. Yeah. I gotta give the cats some bacon too. Here you go, Chloe. That little girl is a stone cold killer. But she's a cat, so she's supposed to be, you know? The most effective predator on earth, a house cat. One of the few that actually kill for fun, other than humans. Technically, I think we would be the most effective predator, but not counting us. Of course, mosquitoes kill more of us than anything else. Yeah, I gotta get the mice. I've always lived someplace like where I'm at right now. We're basically on the edge of the thicket. This is swampland. We have alligators, we got hogs, we got raccoons, we got all kinds of rodents and stuff out in the woods. You want cats around. Growing up, we're surrounded by hay fields. We had 47 cats, but there was like 3 barns. You know, not that we were rich or anything. If you live in the country, you know what I'm talking about. You're in an old farmhouse kind of thing, and it's got the old barns and stuff still there. You're surrounded by hay fields and that sort of thing. And if you don't have cats, you're going to get overrun with mice. Well, here's the same thing. And of course, we have the problem with Californians and all that moving on. They think just because they're in the county, they can let their little dog go run loose, and that's not a good idea. Because we have these things called alligators that will eat your dog. They go down to the bayou. And we've also got stray cats running around, which is how I got Chloe. Litter was born in my garage. And that's the one we kept out of the litter. My son picked her out. But they try to do that spay and neuter and release kind of thing. And people who've lived here, the cats don't bother us. You know, these city people come out here. Yeah, it's a subdivision. Yeah, it's out in the swamp and what have you. But they don't understand. They're like, well, the cat was digging in my flower bed or what have you. It's like, have you seen the size of the rats out in the woods? You want the cats there. So we're still close enough to the ocean. You know, you go down to Galveston, you know, you see some lady, it's like, oh, I want to pet that dog. That's not a dog, lady. That's a rat. If you've ever seen a wharf rat, those things are huge. I think they're actually called Nutra. But those things are big. And that's Chloe hissing at the dog over there. If we could translate whatever she was saying to the dog, it would all be bleeped out. I don't think that was good language. Your town is only 400 people strong. Somebody's got to stay and fight, Mr. Bearded Guy. One of my favorite places in California was, there's a truck stop, Lover's Lane, in Ukiah, California. And your governor kind of messed all that stuff up. But you would see these old trucks come in, and the way the DOT would hit those trucks and inspect them. All these trucks are immaculate. They're in immaculate shape. It might be a 1950 something with 2 flatbeds behind it. But these trucks were in good working order. They're no danger to anyone. And I used to love seeing all these old trucks come in, all these old logging trucks and stuff that would come into the truck stop. And am I drinking already? Not yet. They it was like a classic car show, but with trucks. And I loved that truck stop. But with the emissions and stuff, what is that, the CARB rules and everything in California, it put most of those guys out of business. I think all of them. And they got some new regulations that basically I can't ever go to California again in a truck. Yeah, you're on your 4th pot of coffee. Same here, coffee. I know you smell the bacon. You cannot eat bacon and have a dog in the house without sharing bacon with the dog. If you do, you are very cold and cruel. Here you go. Dogs need bacon too. I can see yours. I can see you. Once again, hello out there on Rumble. I'm not forgetting about you, or on Twitch. Every once in a while I get somebody from Twitch on here. Yes, puppies need love. He's going to need a lot of love with the fireworks tonight. They were coming off too low one year. I had to take him outside to walk him. And it looked like you were walking through one of them war movies, like Vietnam era war movie. And they're coming down at ground level and going off, or like going off 6 foot off the ground. And he was so terrified. And I'm all for fireworks, but just be. Hold on, Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. She had to get something out of the fridge. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Your puppy and your kitty. It's the hardest thing about having pets. Check under general in my Discord. I'm under general. I don't see any comments. I do see under announcements, I see you smoking a brisket. And that looked good. I would post it on here if I knew how, but I'm not that technically anything. So I'm not. My son is really, really good with computers and stuff. Our youngest. But he's about to turn 21. There we go. Now it's nice and soft. Don't blink, man. He'll be 21. They go through a stage where they're just complete assholes for I don't know, about 17 through 21-ish. Then they start being a little bit nicer. I think they get introduced to the real world figure out they didn't quite know what they thought they did. But that was all of us at one point in time. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and that's not how the world works. So you get a few hard knocks on the head, a little bit of an education, and your attitude gets better. I think daughters are worse when they're around 16, 14, 16, 17. I think they're worse there. But it's only human. I think part of it is like an instinctual thing where you're supposed to get out and you're supposed to get away from your parents, you know, so that you'll leave home. I heard something about that. Supposed to be some sort of drive to make you leave home. Then you leave home, you find out you didn't know what you thought you did. You come back with a different attitude. Well, that is awesome. I worked for everything I had. My parents couldn't buy me a car. They couldn't buy me anything. They didn't really even buy me clothes. I was about the age of 12. And I worked for every farmer around. Whether it was putting up fence, working cattle, plowing fields, hauling hay, whatever. Back then, you could push home like a $200 car. And $200 was a lot more money back then, but you could find cars for $200. They may run like crap, they may not run. A lot of them just ran like crap. And you learned how to work on things and fix them by figuring out what's wrong with them and replacing the wrong parts and all that good stuff. And that was your car. And then I went through a few years of just throwing cars away. Because it was so easy to get a cheap car like that and fix it and run it for a while. And it is what it was. But if you grew up poor in the 80s, in the early 90s, you definitely know what I'm talking about. In the early 90s, we were getting those 70s vehicles. Probably like kids today are probably getting the 2000s vehicles and trying to keep them running. Yeah, $350. Yeah, my records with the IRS go back to when I was 14. Because I had a friend who's no longer with us who worked at an auction barn. Sale barn, whatever you want to call it. It was basically just a job. You're opening and closing gates. You're running cattle through the chutes. They're bringing them around to sell. You know, all the farmers bring their cattle up there to sell. They bring them out on the floor. They come back in. You're putting them in one pen. You're putting them in another. It's basically just opening and closing gates. And they didn't want ID or anything like that. You just put a social security number down and your name. So I was 14 years old and I worked there and paying taxes. my friend who got me the job there, he ended up tying a train. So, and this is back when, they'd pile the beer up outside the store and stuff like that. Y'all remember those days? Yeah, working for family. I did that too, even younger. He picked up a case of beer. I went home. He didn't make it home. And we do business with a company in that town. So every once in a while, not only do I have to drive by that site at the place where I get loaded, his little brother works there. And his little brother looks just like him. And I want to cry every time I see him. '69 Chevy C10. Cool. No transmission, busted her in. My first actual vehicle was a 52 Harley that one of the guys I worked for let me push home. Most of the time I had it, we could not get it running. But there was a hill by the house, and me and my friends, we would push it up the hill, and we would ride it down the hill. And eventually we got it started. We never could kickstart it or nothing, but we were able to basically pop the clutch because we were putting it in gear, riding it down the hill, and we eventually got it running. And then my mom got rid of it. After that, I had a 73 and a 76 Kawasaki 750. And then I had a 81 GMC that I put I shouldn't have pulled the 400 out. I had a small block 400 somebody put in it, and that was one of the quickest motors I've ever had. And I built up a 454, and I wanted a 454 with 2 4-barrel Hollies. The things that poor kids can do, it's like you look at the money now and it's not a comparison thing because you did everything yourself and you're pulling a motor out of a junkyard or something. It's like, here's a block. Okay, cool. And you're building it up with your spare money. And I put that in it. After that, I had the worst year Mustang ever made. I had a 1979 Pinto-looking 2.3 liter Ford Mustang with a cast iron block. And after that, I had a 78 GMC pickup that I cared nothing about at the time. I was a kid. So I'm like going over small trees like Ace Ventura. And I blew the motor in that thing, looked like a bug on a windshield. And I got a 72 Volkswagen Super Beetle. But by this time, I'm already working. And I Baha'd it. I took the motor out of a bus, put it in there. Roller bearing crank, dual DeLornos, had a snorkel on it. I wish I still had that car. Yes. What was cool was I was taking diesel mechanics at the time at a vocational college. So they would let us work on our vehicles. So there's nothing else to do. You would pull your pickup or your car or something in the shop, and the teacher would help you out with it. That was pretty cool. I was one of the poor kids that went to Votech for half a day. What's that motor? A friend of mine had it. It was a slant six in a Dodge, but it was really fast. And I'm wanting to say it was like a 289 or something like that, or 287. And he had his truck built up. Oh, that thing was pretty good. The best motor for a work truck that I've ever had, though, was that 300 inline six that Ford had. And that was on a 94 Ford pickup, standard transmission, two-wheel drive, posi rears. It didn't ride in the same tracks because it's a Ford. Good thing about a Ford, the wheels are slightly off from each other. That helps in the mud. So you just put it down in low, crawl out in the mud. It'd go down nice and low for you. You'd walk around these Ford Rangers somebody's dad built up for them. And you'd be like, are you stuck? And they're just looking at you like they hate you. Okay, let me get a dozer and excavator out here to pull you out. That is understandable, Corey. What am I showing? How do I get this off? Hi, correct, cool. Try to get that off the screen. Mark Malone, that's what a lot of people did at Votech. And but of course you're going to class with people from the age range of 16 to 40 something. You stay away from them biscuits. The first bike I ever got on, a comment about their missing riding bikes, was actually, I think it was a 79 or a 1980 Mako, that Mako 750. Best dirt bike ever made. And I would sit up on the gas tank or up by it, my grandfather or my uncles when he had the controls because I was too small. And they're flying through the woods, scaring the hell out of me, going through a cornfield or something like that. And you just come out of the woods, or you come out of the field and you got like gnats in your teeth and everything. You're just so happy. There used to be companies, usually junkyards, that would make deals like they would put any engine in any car. They would have the adapter kits, or they'd make their own kind of things, and they'd put all kinds of weird stuff in cars. So you'd end up with a Chevy motor and a Ford. We had a pickup like that. We had a 454 and a Ford pickup. And it's like, that doesn't go there. No, it doesn't. Because everybody wanted that one. That or like one of the worst mistakes I ever did was pulling that 6 out of that Ford. Well, which one was it? Well, that's another story. Pulling the 6 out of that one. But truck I had before that was an 87 Ford. And that one, I believe, had a 302 in it. I pulled that motor out because I wanted to put a 429 in it. So you're sensing a pattern. There is one. See, the death of the junkyard makes you sad. Oh yeah, that's where I got heads for motors, and you'd buy a car with a cracked head and you'd go to the junkyard and you'd get one. That's how I got my bicycles growing up. Usually the trash pile or a junkyard. You'd find a bike that was good enough that you could fix it with other bikes, or you'd find enough parts. And you would put them together and you'd make yourself a bicycle because your parents ain't going to have the money to buy that. And then all of us that were poor like that growing up, we survived pretty well. Something breaks, we fix it. We figure out ways to do things. And then the kids that had everything given to them, like in 2008, no offense to anybody that lost anything, because that was horrible. And that was all our government's fault for several reasons. But those of us who grew up with nothing weren't the ones going home. That bearded guy, awesome. I know a guy who has a 327 sitting in between two lazy boys in his living room. It's filled up with oil. It's rebuilt. It's ready to go. And out of the intake is a lamp. He turned a 327 into a lamp. Kind of a similar story. And it sits there in his living room between two lazy boys. And it is a 327 lamp. Yeah, Corey, I'm kind of accident prone too. I've cut myself bad in the kitchen doing things, and yeah, I feel you. My wife probably sympathizes with yours. That's coffee. You don't want coffee. That will keep you up for 2 hours straight. You're a cat. You don't know how to do that. But yeah. Cat's trying to drink my coffee over there. Like, that's gonna keep you up way longer than you want to be up. But anyways, I don't know if I'm gonna be live tomorrow or not. I got a few things I need to do with the new year. I'm gonna set my son's old room up. I mean, I'm leaving his bed and all that stuff in there. He's welcome anytime he wants. But I'm gonna set his room up with my guitar stuff and my like where I can sit in there doing live chats, that sort of thing. I'm away from the rest of the house. There's other stuff we need to do. I can hear we're not finished remodeling. We kind of stopped. We started. And we want a try not to cough. We want to be able to put a bigger fridge in here. We have a little galley kitchen. If you know what a galley kitchen is. And back when they still made 36-inch fridges that were top and bottom, top freezer, bottom, we could fit one in here in the corner, but we can't do a side-by-side because of the way the doors open. And we've been debating just going ahead and replacing all the cabinets and everything and redoing it. We don't know what we're going to do yet. We're just kind of at that stage of the kids are grown and looking at remodeling and doing that sort of thing. I've cut my tongue on a can before and on a knife. Stabbed myself. I walked in the kitchen at my grandmother's house with a knife through my boot one time. I had an Arkansas toothpick. I was throwing it at the shed. And I was a little too buzzed. And it hit butt first and it came back and it went through my boot. So I walk in there and I put my boot up in a chair with a knife sticking through it. And I'm like, I'm going to need some paper towels or something. So we get some paper towels. And I thought my grandmother was going to pass out because I just pulled the knife out of my boot and out of my foot. Take my foot out of my boot and start doing my thing. But yeah, a lot of the stories about rednecks are there for a reason. But anyways, I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow or not. I don't know if I'm going out of town next week or not. Need to find out from my boss before I decide what I'm going to cook for the week. And I've thought about making kolaches. I don't know. May make kolaches. May do something else. I have no idea. May make a pot roast. Who knows? But there's a lot to do, and I'm going on a ride in the morning for the riding group that I'm a part of. So, and it's a patch ride, so they kind of want everyone there. So I'm going to do that in the morning. And I just don't know what I'm doing tomorrow evening yet. Better be live. I will try my best. I'm kind of at a point where I'm going through older stuff and I want to come up with some new stuff to make. And there's some stuff I could do baking and what have you, but I don't have the funds to set my cameras up the way that I need to be able to do that. And I'd like to remodel first as well too. But I really need my camera set up where I can have like one coming from one side looking at the stove and one coming from the other side looking at the counter. That's more how I need my camera set up. And I could do that a lot better. Drinking coffee till you fall asleep. Yes, I do that. I drink coffee and go to bed. I'm a truck driver. I grew up in the country. You're drinking coffee at like age 4. So coffee does not keep you awake. Not in my case. You develop some kind of caffeine insensitivity or whatever. But I'm going to let y'all go because I'm going to be setting up stuff in his room. And I've got some stuff. I'm going to have to film for my other channel that I'm doing to my helmet if it'll fit. I just noticed today that because of where I have my Cardo mounted on my helmet, I don't know if I'm going to be able to mount the high tail thing there. And if I can't, I'll do a video showing why. But I'm going to put that on my helmet if I can, let the clips kind of cure to it, then put the high tail thing in. I want to make a video where I show doing that. And then a couple weeks later, after actually using it for a while, I can give an honest opinion on what I think about it. And I got some straps coming that are proprietary straps for Route 1 Nelson rig So I've got the rig to go under my passenger seat to strap another bag on the seat for my trip coming up this summer. So I'm working on those two. And I'm going to kind of try to set that one room up to where I can start doing like live chats and filming and stuff like that in there. And that's what I'm about to get working on. I was just hungry. I wanted to cook something and I figured I would go live, kind of random, but it is what it is. Let me go back. Rumble, anyone there? Oh, we had 11 at one point on Rumble. Cool. So anyone still watching on Rumble? There's a few of you out there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not forgetting about you. But I do have to go to my phone to look at the chat because that does not show up on StreamYard for some reason. And there is a way to do Instagram through StreamYard now. I haven't set that up yet. That's something I need to figure it out. And what do you say? Mod you. You are modded. Let me go check. But I should be able to do at least my bike stuff because I don't really have cooking set up for Instagram. You're a sous chef on Discord. Come on, get the chat up. Why aren't you modded on here? See what's the difference in these. Put another comment out there. You should be a moderator now. You should have a wrench. I thought you had a wrench. But Corey, you should have a wrench. There you go. If there's anything you're on and you don't have a wrench when I'm doing a live, let me know. I will try to give you a wrench. But up at the top of the chat, if you scroll, and if you're on my Discord, I put links to Subscribestar, Patreon, and to my Discord at the top of the chat. And I might go through and put them in the comments as well on here when I get off of this. And trying to get up enough money for my trip and to do stuff. Any support helps. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all of my patrons. I guess they call them stars on Subscribestar. So that one's new. I'm waiting for approval. And apparently they're on Christmas break. I don't know. Trying to link it to my Facebook. And if you go to my Instagram, there's links to everything on my Chasing Ghost Instagram. There's links to all of them. There's links to Subscribestar, Cash App, all of it, Patreon, and my other channels. For some reason it's hard to put a link in the chat on Instagram, but they will post your links where YouTube doesn't want to do that unless you have over so many subscribers. I will holler at you if I'm up there. Our oldest son lives up there near you. He lives in Rusk, or near Rusk. He's got some family property from the other side of his family up there. He's been wanting me to go hunting up there. I haven't been to California much since I got that motor off the front of my trailer. I did have a hazmat run went from Taft, California to Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. Went from Baker Petrolite in Taft, California to Baker Petrolite in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. You can put that in Google if you want. That's one of the best paying trips I ever had. And it would run like twice a year. It was UN 1092. But I'd have to go out to California, I think, at this point on vacation because they're not allowing trucks into California. And we're not CARB. But if I get out there, I'll let you know. But I'm going to go ahead and end the chat. Thank you for basically having lunch with me. And I got a bunch of chores and stuff to do. And I think my wife said something about needing her giraffe. So she calls me her giraffe. I'm over 6 foot, but I'm not that tall, but she's 5 foot tall. So, well, she's like 5'2". I'm a foot taller than her, so she calls me a giraffe. And then she gets mad because I can change all the lights and stuff and I don't need a ladder. I just reach up. It's a light bulb. It's right there. So being built like an orangutan comes in handy every once in a while. But anyways, I will catch y'all later and I'll go ahead and get off of here. 5'10" is not bad. Actually, 5'10" and 5'11" is the perfect height for bodybuilding and powerlifting. For the amount of muscle that you can put on in a short amount of time and for leverage, like the length of your bones compared to the muscle. A lot of your best ones are right around 5'10", 5'11". That's just for like strength and putting on muscle. Almost the perfect height. You are 6'6". Cool. My dad was 6'10". Most of my cousins are 6'6", 6'8". I'm a runt. Table building. Pretty much. Yeah, I actually powerlifted a long time ago. So I went to state, all that good stuff. And at a certain point, they want money to compete, and you have to work for a living. And it just, unless you're doing really, really good, you end up not being able to because you can't afford to. But I will catch y'all later, and I'll go ahead and get off of here. I'll go ahead and get off of here. So I will catch you later. Bye-bye. And have a happy new year.